fellow gardeners, Dawn here from Seasonal Designs. I garden in Wisconsin, Zone 5. But today we are working on getting these urns ready here in front of the greenhouse for the winter season. If you're ready, let's get started. Well, the urns I'm going to be doing today in front of the greenhouse, you've seen me do these before, spring, summer, fall. I'm not sure I've ever done a winter video on these. These are the Savana urns from Unique Stone. They're made of cast stone. And while they're very heavy duty and very heavy, they still have the potential to crack over time if they have the wrong circumstances. And what I mean by that is a lot of times if you put soil in a container, it gets wet from rain and then it freezes and then it warms up a little and it thaws and then it freezes again and it goes through this cycle. That dirt kind of contracts and expands, and over time it can cause cracks in something like this. If it were a clay container, it would completely bust your container. So I really try, I came up with a solution where I don't use dirt in these containers because I don't want that to happen and I don't want these to potentially crack over time. The last 4 years what I have done is I use styrofoam, and I have a couple of these styrofoam pieces that, you know, like I haven't even stuck anything in on this side yet. I keep sticking it here on one side where I put all my sticks, my greens, my bling, everything that I'm going to put in here actually sits in this. This does not expand and contract and expand and contract. It doesn't hold the water. The water kind of runs off of it and it runs into this container and down the large drainage hole that's in here. So I don't really have as much of a concern with that freeze thaw thing that we get a lot of times here in our Wisconsin winters. So I have two of these in here that I place in here, and I simply put all of my sticks and twigs and everything in this, and it has worked really well for me. The other thing that I've done the last couple of winters is I keep my cool globes in there, those kind of trellisy orb things that I use. This year I'm going to take those out because I wanted to do something different, because I found these gorgeous willow branches, this golden willow, which I think is just absolutely stunning. These are going to be the centerpiece of both of these urns this year, and I'm really looking forward to trying something a little bit different. So really, you just start pressing things in. And this is going to rock a little bit until I really get a lot of stuff in here. And typically, I try to push this through both pieces of this styrofoam. And then I'll come back and kind of play with it to make sure it's sitting correctly. Next up, around the base, we're just going to start layering. I'm going to use some of this Magnolia. All right, building on the layers. Next up, we're going to use two different types of cedar. This one here has beautiful golden sort of tips on it, which is going to pull this gold from these beautiful willow branches. So nice. So that is going to be around the base. This one will be up on top, and this one will be sort of on the bottom. Some of these branches come perfectly sized, and a lot of these I will have to cut. So really, I just am going to do a ring. It's just going to simply lay like this all the way around. All right, so I've got my beautiful sort of lime green color here with the cedar all the way around. I'm going to come back through and I'm going to cut pieces off of this beautiful cedar with the golden sort of berries on it. We're going to put that in on top of this, but it's all about layering. But what you can see already starting to happen is the different colors of greens with the magnolia, with the darker green and the brown on the back of the leaves. And then we've got this beautiful lime green. We're going to add this with some gold, and then we're still going to fill in with some Fraser and a couple of other things to really give this a lot of different color greens and textures. So for this, I need to cut some of these off and simply place these in. Now, I'm sticking this stuff into styrofoam. If you've got dirt in your pot, which is what all my other videos are, I have dirt, you are simply placing this, sticking this into the dirt or into the soil that's in your container. I always say, you know, if you have the soil and you're taking out summer stuff, leave some of the roots in there. Don't fluff up the soil. Leave it firm, because having that firm soil is going to really give you a good solid base for your branches and your greens and all that other good stuff. So I am going to cut some of these off of here, and we're going to get these placed in here as well. Such a nice piece. I probably would put that, you know, right in here. And that would start kind of filling in, and then I'm going to fill in with some smaller pieces. And again, I'm going to leave a little bit of a space. It's not going to be solid with this stuff, but we're going to fill in a little bit kind of all the way around. All right, let's just do a quick close-up here of what this looks like. You can see the gold cedar. This golden cedar is just kind of placed in here throughout. And then we're going to add more. So here's another tip. So this one's a little bit long. So what I'm going to do so that I don't really waste this is I'm going to cut this right here, because that's going to give me two pieces that I can use. So this one here, a nice point, it's the perfect size for a filler. But this one now that I cut it correctly, you don't see the cut mark, and this is also another nice piece that you can use. So you just have to really think about your greens and how you're cutting them apart so that you can use them. A little bit of juniper that I'm going to put in. I have a couple, I have 4, so I'm going to space that out in here as well. Let's get a close-up of how we're looking so far. And this is where we can see if we need to adjust anything. We still have more to add in here, but you can see how it's nicely filling in the different colors of greens and really the different textures of all the greens, and just kind of how this thing has filled in so nice. I mean, just that alone looks really nice. The next thing I'm going to add are these cool pods that I have. This is going to be a pretty natural container that I'm doing. And I have 3 for each container. So, just stick this in. And the other thing to remember is if you're doing containers that sit side by side, you want to make sure that you kind of have them the same height, the same fullness. know, the pods are in similar locations so that they match. All right, so the next thing I'm going to add are going to be some berries. And I do have two different types. This is a faux berry. It is blue, and I have 4 of them. And so I am going to space these out as well. All right, and then I also have a couple of white berries that I'm going to place in here as well. And these are going to be more in the center and just kind of add a little bit of brightness in here. This one's a little bit shorter, but I think that'll be fine. Maybe I want the taller one. So luckily I have 2. Boy, this is really, really looking good. The last thing I'm going to add are these pine cones on a stick. They have just a light sort of frost look to them. It probably will wear off during the winter, but that's okay. And I like these pine cones. They're kind of tall and skinny. So I'm going to put 5 of these in. We're just going to place them lower, a little bit lower here around the arrangement. There we go. And here they are completed. I absolutely love the way they turned out. Love the golden curly willow. All of the different greens that we put in here. We used magnolia, pine cones, blue and white berries, but it all has come together so beautifully. Well, that is it for today's video. Again, if you want more ideas, there will be a link coming up here to my next video, which is chock full of different container ideas for you guys to use. But I hope you guys have a great holiday season. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.